What's up, you guys? I'm Sierra Arteaga. I'm playing sevens for about 5, 6 years, and I've learned a lot over that course of time. I'm 18 now. I'm at Boise State University, and I just want to talk about playing sevens because I love the sport, and it's really easy to play. I think once you get the concepts down, and I just want to go over those concepts. So anyone that wants to play sevens or get a sevens teams together, they can just learn um, through these concepts and build upon that. So here we go. All right. The defense. The defense is 6 people on the line and one person in the back. So basically, that's the second point right there. But that's how we're gonna align. That one person's called the sweeper. On defense, we push up at the same time, and when we do, you have to make one-man tackles, like by pushing up on the person right in front of you. Because you can't have 2 people, 2 or 3 people tackling one person, because that just brings people together, bunches it all up, and then you exploit space for the offense. So you got to trust your teammates and be able to make one-man tackles, because that's just like that helps you out so much. By pushing up at the same time, like in a flat line, you need to be aggressive when you do it and put pressure like fast. Because if you, I mean, I guess you can go up at all at the same time, which is good, because there's no space there. But you want to be aggressive on defense. You want to show like they can't just like run past you and all that stuff. So being aggressive, you know, causing them to scramble on offense is really important, and it puts a lot of pressure on them. So that's how I feel you should play defense. Um, yeah. All right, let's go to the offense. All right, for the offense, it's really easy to get bunched. Like if you play 15s, you have all the forwards, sometimes even all the backs all bunched together. But in sevens, you play with I think 72 yards. I don't really know the whole width. It's basically the same exact field like you would play 15s, but with only 7 people, so you can't get bunched. And the only time you'll get bunched is by traveling in threes, which you need to do. If you pass the ball out, you need to follow your pass, and then that person who just passed it needs to be there for support to ruck over the ball, and then a third person needs to be there to be the scrum half to get the ball out again to play fast again, because that's how you play sevens. So you can't get bunched, and you always got to have support. Like you can't just go in, in a tackle like by yourself, like with the ball, because you won't have anyone there. Like you got to make sure you have people with you. Like you got to make sure you have someone who's gonna ruck over and someone who's gonna get the ball out again. And you just kind of like you got to know where you're at on the field. Like if you're on the sideline and you have the ball, like you got to cut in, because you can't go out of bounds. You got to cut in, have those 2 people with you, the rucker and the bulk and the scrum half, and make sure it gets out there again, and make sure you realign after you pass. Because say you're in the middle of the field, and you pass it out, and there's already 3 or 4 people outside of you. Like you already know there's 3 or 4 people, so those 3 or 4 people are gonna ruck over and get the ball out. Like there's no reason for you to go over there and be a part of that and get bunched up with it. Like you need to realign and get ready for offense for the next phase. So offense, it's pretty simple. I think that's just the basis of offense. Just don't get bunched, spread the field, and always follow your pass and be in support. All right. I want to go into defense a little bit more in depth because I just wanted to explain the basic concept of our defense. Because you only have 6 on the line, like 6 up front, and you have your one person in the back, you're going to have an overload because you play with 7 on each side. So the offense is going to have 7. So what we do on defense, you match up on the inside shoulder of your opposite opponent, and you're going to push up on your man, and then once the ball is passed out, you slide. You slide to the next guy while you still push up. So you don't slide across, because if you slide across right away, the defense is gonna like come right at you, and like there'll be a gap. You need to come up, put the pressure on them, and then slide across once the ball is passed. Um, by doing this, you'll take away the offensive space. So like if you already slide over and start sliding to the right, because that's where the direction of the ball is going, they're gonna come back left because you haven't put any pressure on them. So that's why we come up and then you slide out. And you need to be loud and aggressive on defense, because say there's 4 people all to the right and you only have 2 defenders. You need to slide over there, like pushing up and still sliding over, and be loud with your teammates and yell at them, because sevens it gets tiring, but you need to be able to do that to communicate. um, to make sure you don't get burned on the outside or even burned like within the middle of the field. And that goes with trusting your teammates, because sometimes when you have those overloads, you need to slide over to the next guy. There might be a little gap that might be revealed. There might be a gap that you might be not be able to, still be there because you're sliding to the next teammate. So your other teammate, you have to trust that other teammate to make the tackle. Um, Also, you got to know where you are and look up at the defense, because sometimes you might be, on an island. Like you might have, it just might just be you because everyone's bunched up, and you might have two or three defenders you might have to defend. And what you have to do, you kind of have to wait. You kind of have to like backpedal and not backpedal. I apologize. You have to like shuffle, like start shuffling to the right, because if you come up, if you come push up right away, you already then you want to 1-on-3. So you need to back up a little bit and give your teammates more time to get there. Because the only time you want to come up all together is whenever you have your 6 people. But if it's only one of you and there's 3 of them, you got to give your teammates time to get there to help you out. And that goes with talking with your teammates. Just talking with your teammates the whole time helps you, because if you don't talk, you don't know where the overloads are, and you don't know where you will need help and whatnot. So um, yeah, that's the depth, or that's going into depth on defense, because defense is it's really important, and I know talking to them and being aggressive on defense is really important. So that's it for defense. Let me get to the offense. All right, now we're on the offense. Going in depth on the offense, um, like we said, you gotta travel in threes and you can't get bunched up. But sometimes it's not enough. You gotta attack the space though. Like just traveling in threes and going back and forth, that won't really work. That's the basic concept. You need to do that first, but eventually you're gonna have to run forward more and attack the space that the defenders give you. And you can do that by changing your path to the ball. So if you see a gap, and you need to run, to the right more and take an angle. You need to do that and talk to your teammates and like be loud about it. You can't just be running straight the whole time, which is perfect, like running straight. But sometimes you need to make a little cut to the left and attack a defender, like run at a defender to make that defender come to you, and then give it to one of your teammates because that defender's on you now, not on him. So changing your pass to the ball, changing your angles, that helps create space, and that's how you attack it. Also, with offense, you need to support the player you pass it to. So if I pass it to someone on my right, and we're close to the sideline, like I need to be there. As soon as I pass it, I need to go support them, because there's no one else there. We're like the last 2 or 3 on the sideline, by the sideline. So I'm gonna have to be there. For a pop pass, or if he gets tackled, I need a ruck or be scrum half, because you only have 7 people. Like it's not 15s where it's usually the forwards are the ones rucking, or so you always got to support the player you just pass it to. Um, Running sideways, you don't not want to run sideways, because if you run sideways, like how we play defense, the defense is gonna just come up on you, and you're not gonna gain anything by running sideways. Like you're gonna, if you see a gap all the way over there to the left, and you want to run to it, like have your teammate do it. Pass it to your teammate and have them run to the gap, not you running sideways into that gap. Because defense is just gonna come up at you, and running sideways doesn't do really good. You want to play wide with the ball. So say I'm on the sideline to the left of the field, and there's 2 defenders by me. Like I could try to go at those 2 defenders and then have my people ruck, but instead, like, why don't I just like pass it out wide to the right? Because sevens, you got to be able to make like 10, 15-yard passes like pretty easily. So instead of running straight up into that, like sometimes you have no other option, but if you see space, pass it out, play wide with it, and let your other teammates, find space, instead of running up at 2 defenders, just pass it out really wide and see what they can do, because you got to play wide with the ball. And I didn't mention this like as a slide thing, as a point, but use your eyes, like vision, because vision is super important. Like if there's 3 or 4 of you guys and there's 2 defenders, because everyone else is in the ruck, like call for the ball, because it's 4-on-2, 3-on-2, and that's easy. Like those drills, you do drills about that, and it's super easy. You need to be able to be loud with your teammates, like help them out, like tell them like, hey, I'm over here on the left, because there's 3 of us, only 2 of them, because so you just need to use your eyes. Using your eyes is really important, and just like using your mouth, just like you need to be able to yell and communicate with your teammates. Um, I think that's it for offense. Just you gotta be able to attack the space by creating it. By changing your angles. Because if you just run straight, then you're not doing too much. You're running right into the defense. Played wide with the ball. Don't run sideways. You can run switches, but I mean by running switches, you need to run at a defender. You can't just run sideways because that won't work. But run at the defender and then have that player come switch back, and then also with a loop that goes with supporting the player you pass it to. So say he's on the wing. Say that player's on the wing and you're the second to last guy, and we're on the right side. I pass it to him. I need to go support him because either ruck or he can loop it, and then I can become the wing if I loop around him. So loops are really easy when you go support the player. And sevens, that's pretty much it. Just play wide, and then you just attack the space by creating it. And you need to be able to talk with your teammates and help them out with everything. So on the next slide, or on the next thing I'll show you is our how we'll play defense. So by pushing out, because some people might be like, how do you push out? Like, when do you know when to push out? And obviously I said is when the ball gets passed out to the next player, but it might be a little confusing, so I'll show you a picture of it right now. All right, so the defense are the triangles, and we'll say the triangle all the way on the left. That's the first guy, and we'll say that circle or oval in front of him is the first defender with the ball. So obviously you're gonna come up, and as soon as he passes it to the next oval on the right, then the first triangle needs to slide to where the ball was, and you just need to keep sliding all the way down, so eventually you'll have it all covered. But and then as soon as you slide down, you need to you know realign on defense too, because you can't have five guys all on the right side because the offense can get realigned. So once there's a tackle made, defense, you need to pick your eyes up and look at the offense again and try to match them up, because the offense might want to run a switch and stuff like that and try to change the angles of their offense. They're not going to run sideways the whole time, because then it'll just make it easy for you, because that's how we play. We play by pushing up and sliding. So yeah, that's it for defense. I drew that green arrow because that's what we're doing. We're sliding as we push up with the white arrows. So I can go more on defense on the next video. But yeah, that's it for right now. If you have any questions, I don't know, any comments, go ahead and put them down in the description below. Or go ahead and put them down in the comment section. And all right, that's it. Thank you.